Hey, this is former WWE superstar and ECW original, The Blue Meanie. And you're watching the Tell Us About Yourself show on Foxworthy 257. Now, if you're looking to watch a show about people who play the Super Show wrestling card and dice game, I highly recommend it. The Blue Meanie told you! The Blue Meanie sent you to watch Foxworthy 257, or else I'll come get you.
My name is Brian Pillman Jr., and you are watching Tell Us About Yourself, only on Foxworthy 257 Twitch channel.
Hi guys, I'm Session Matt Martina, and you are watching Tell Us About Yourself on Foxworthy 257 on Twitch. I'm going to get some cans. Are you going to get cans and watch with me?
Well, hello, folks. We are live with this episode of Tell Us About Yourself with our guest, Matty Bar One, Matt Barone, the Ty Turner himself. And my co-host this week is, again, the SRG mom, Christy Overby. How are you all doing?
Fantastic.
I'm doing pretty great.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, as the forums know, you had a pretty rough week, so it's good to have you with us again this week.
Thanks. Yeah. Last week was a little rough, obviously, but you know, nothing too bad. Nothing to get up and over. Just gotta get to the bottom of it eventually.
Yeah, fair. All right. So why don't we start off with our starter question of how you got into the game?
I got into the game, I want to say about 2, maybe 3 years ago. The True Survivor, Anthony Medvez, one of my best friends, brought me out to the Brooklyn Strategists because they were doing a demo event there. I think it was a demo event or just some kind of, there was an SRG event. And first day in, I got in, I met the boss, Sage, Pagillo, GM, Calais. I'm trying to think who else was there. I'm not sure who else was there. I know those guys were there though. And entered the event, built my first deck with General, Winchester General, and actually came in second place out of about 12 or 15 people. So I was pretty happy. From then, I just got hooked, and I started playing events ever since. And it's been honestly one of my favorite games. I used to play Magic like years ago when it first came out, and kind of fell off with that. Played some Pokemon with my brother and my sister, and like never really got back into any of those games. And this game came along. I like it because there's almost, I don't say there's no meta, but it's more luck than just straight strategy. It's an even playing field for everyone almost, which makes it so you can't build. So like whoever has the most money can't build the best deck and just beat everyone and clean house, which is I think a big drawing power to this game and what makes this game so interesting.
So would you say you're more of a wrestling fan or more of a board gaming fan?
I say at the time when I first got into the game, I was more of a wrestling fan, but as I progressed into this game, I became more of a board gaming fan. It almost flip-flopped in a way. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, so do you find yourself like gravitating towards indie characters, or are you more of the ones that have been made by other players?
I have a lot of indie competitors. I use them sparingly. I try to go with people I know more or less, just because it adds a little more personalization to it, I guess, or personality to it. Because it's cooler. Like it might be it's cool having Kenny Omega and all these guys like Mike Verna, all of them. Technically Chris Jericho, whatever. But like even though I love Chris Jericho, I only built Haltane once, whereas opposed to other players I built a few times. Like Mr. Pop and Twist is a deck that's always probably been one of my steady decks, just because he's a great guy, but I like his tech the most. Works for my play style. I think it helps me out. And it's not something that you have to rely and worry about. If your gimmick gets blank, you have to rely too heavily on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I'm more towards a gimmick, but I try to stick towards more people less indie people and more people I actually know.
Gotcha. Yeah, I saw that his card at the time that he posted, I think there were only 4 more sets of Mr. Pop and Twist
Yeah,
before they're
and
out.
it's gonna be sold out, which is crazy. I think he's very undervalued. Like for a while, he had a lot of rises and falls of popularity being played, but
Mhm.
I think he's always been underutilized as a competitor in the game. I'm surprised I don't see more people play as him, just because it's a good, consistent, I guess, gimmick. Having those 2 10s on it out there, and if you get one more card out there, like the Gathering the Kendo Stick, I think, or Judo Chop, whatever it is, Judo Choke, I think, that +1, you get 3 10s.
Yeah.
All at once.
Yeah, a lot of people look at it for the finishes, but being a little bit less and don't really see how much the gimmick actually shines. Which I love. Pop Twist is awesome. All right, why don't we get into some questions from the Twitch chat? So we'll go with Evil Ed's first question, which he always asks: cheese or pickle? And since you were hanging out with TJ Marconi recently, we might know which way you're avoiding, because he has some big boots.
Yeah, no. As much as I love cheese, I gotta go with pickles more.
Oh,
I'm a big pickle guy. There's actually a place in my town that makes homemade pickles and all different flavors.
Okay.
And they make Carolina Reaper ones.
Oh God, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, Carolina Reaper ones and Old Bay ones I like a lot. So those are 2 of my favorites.
Old Bay. All right. His next question is sheep or fox? Tough one.
I think I'm gonna
Jersey or Kentucky? Jersey or Kentucky? Or Philly or Kentucky? Yeah. All right. Sounds good. The very seldom choose option. All right. Ken Fouché has a really good question. Okay. For those of us who really do not know what is the story behind the name Maddie Drip Drip.
Okay, so one of my few nicknames the boss gave me is Maddie Drip, because I'm always wearing different button-up shirts or different outfit, like I guess stylish outfits according to the boss. Mm-hmm. So he just gave that to me one day, and it just kind of stuck.
I don't know. I think stylish is a little subjective.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Wait, my follow-up question: how many pairs of Crocs do you own?
I own 1 pair of Crocs, but I also own about 26 pairs of sneakers. Maybe more.
But are they all as blinged out as your Crocs?
No, not all as blinged out. Some are pretty loud though. I have a pair of limited edition gold Adidas sneakers, like not actual gold, but they're just covered in gold leather.
I think I had those in the 80s and I got made fun of. And now they're cool.
Yeah.
You have the drip. I mean, like
for the older people. Before I did, apparently.
Yeah. And as Swaggy D is saying, Maddie is stylish, and it is true.
Swaggy D, another guy I got to finally meet this weekend. He's a great guy. Just he's someone I think I was talking to a few people about in the last few months, see him really shine in this community.
Oh,
just him not even as a player, but his personality wise. He's just a fun guy to be around, fun to talk to.
Yeah.
Me, him, and Michael Unsworth actually got to go out to Sharky's a little bit after the event, have a couple of drinks. I got them hooked on PBR actually makes alcoholic hard coffee.
What?
It tastes like Yoo-hoo. It comes it comes in like 8-ounce cans, almost like the size of Red Bull cans.
Okay.
And they're amazing.
Grown up Yoo-hoos, Swaggy D's calling them. Oh my God.
Grown up Yoo-hoos. I told them, they didn't believe me at first because it said hard coffee on it. Like, what's going to taste like? I'm like, no, it tastes like Yoo-hoo. Try it.
Yeah.
And it just tastes like alcohol Yoo-hoo.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about alcohol. If you combine certain alcohols, they taste like completely different things and people like them more.
Yeah.
There's a shot that tastes like a breakfast. I don't even know what it is, but it's like shot of pancake with maple syrup. And I'm just like, how is this possible?
Yeah, there's some juice. Yeah, there's some crazy ones out there that are just out of control. But like, I'm more of a I like those shots, every once in a while. But I'm more of a whiskey guy, so like a nice glass of whiskey, sipping whiskey, or a shot of Jameson here and there is.
Black cherry bourbon.
Yeah, black cherry bourbon, not bad. Is a good one too. I actually, I really liked lately the Jameson coffee.
Stag.
Who's coming in here? I don't know. But yeah, Jameson cold brew coffee is not bad. Just had like a glass of it, like with some over ice. It's probably a nice little after dinner drink.
Yeah, I think
You
one of
got
the
me hooked on the black cherry bourbon down in Huntsville.
oh. Yeah, so he's not just stylish clothing wise, he is stylish when it comes to his liquors.
Well, liquors and beers, I've been to over 150 different breweries.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's a lot of breweries.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never actually gone to one, and well, I technically have gone to one because there's the Manayunk Brewery and there's a bar in there, but I
Okay.
gave zero shits about the brewery part, and actually I thought their shit sucked. So, but like the worst pale ale I ever had.
Let me see. I
Horrible.
saw someone just put in the chat the worst coffee drink ever. What was that? The PBR or the Yoo-Hoo, Girth?
No, it's just coffee is the worst beverage
Oh,
ever.
coffee is the worst beverage ever. I love coffee.
Jeff, I think we are diametrically opposed. Like everything I love, you're like, no way. And everything that you love, I'm like, oh, that's terrible.
That's what makes you guys great hosts. Because
I mean,
yeah.
people with the same views, then it just gets boring.
To be fair, I'm
Yeah.
also from Philadelphia, so generally we're diametrically opposed to everything everyone else enjoys in life.
Even if
Well,
even if he does actually enjoy it, he's gonna say he doesn't just to be against you.
No,
Well, I'm originally from Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh and Philly
Okay.
always see.
To be fair, you can say it with any city in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
pretty much. Yeah, I mean, Pittsburgh only became like relevant to the conversation because of the Steelers, which is sad because you know.
Well, the Steelers in the 70s and then the Penguins in the 90s.
Yeah.
No one cares about the Penguins. No one cares about the Penguins. Like I haven't watched hockey in like 10 years or so after my friends requested me never to watch the Flyers play again. But like
wait, I want to know the story behind that. Why don't you want you to watch the Flyers ever again?
Curses them.
Yes, every time there was like 10 years or so ago, like every time I watched the Flyers, no matter what, like even when I went to the game in person, they would get blown out. And my friends bet on the Flyers all the time. And like it got to the point like if like because he worked at a bar, if I was in the bar and it was on TV and I was looking at the TV, they'd give up goals. And he just got so it got to the point where like now you have a bar that has people in there watching the Flyers. If I was in the bar and near a TV, he would change the channel on the TV. Everyone get like all uproar, all pissed off, and then he explained it to them and be like, oh, okay. And they just go to another TV. So I
felt the same way with the Reds this weekend. We flipped it on. They were up 7-0. I was like, man, this is gonna be great. Yeah, I sat there and bam, bam, bam. Next thing you know, it was tied 7-7. I was like, turn this shit off. Just turn it off.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those things. Like, you know what? The Flyers get cursed when I watch them. That's fine. I just stopped watching them.
So speaking of the Flyers, what are your thoughts on Gritty?
Gritty is absolutely a treasure of America. Like, so here's the thing. I hated Gritty when he first came out.
I think everyone did. And he just like,
and then everyone started shitting on our Philadelphia pride with Gritty, and then it's just somehow it's like, oh fuck it, Gritty's amazing. And then they've just made Gritty so much better with like the way they have him do his live action and things like that, like him like pushing the kid and stuff like that. Yeah. Because who hasn't wanted to push a kid that was like being too like touchy?
Annoying,
you know what I mean? Yeah. Like it makes perfect sense. So like he turned into a very good representation of the city of Philadelphia, sadly.
I have to say over the last few years, this Philadelphia sports has won me over, even though I used to hate them with a giant burning passion. Between Gritty, my favorite entire Eagles fan ever.
Yeah.
And then the guy who had the Fanatic tattooed on his stomach.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean,
Philly
again,
sports fans are just another level, and I'm here for it.
yes, and just so everyone knows, why don't you tell them your favorite Eagles fan story? Because
So
I love this story.
it's fun. Yeah, so after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, which is a bane to my existence, Barstool Sports went down to the parade and interviewed people, but of course they interviewed drunk people just to get great reactions. And they interviewed one guy, and his friend was saying something, and he just yelled over and he goes, "Tom Brady's wife cooks a terrible lasagna." And to me, I couldn't stop laughing at that. I think it's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Oh yeah, and like the thing is, it's a huge insult. Like
If
if
you're
you're
from this area, like the guys, you can hear this. You can hear his South Philly Italian
oh
accent,
god, yeah,
and you know how insulting that is just coming from him. Like
yeah,
that's in other parts of the world. That's just saying your mom's
yeah. Like
W,
if
or you're spitting on someone's grave.
yeah, like if you come from a part of the world where Olive Garden is fine Italian dining, it probably doesn't matter as much. But on the
Yeah.
East Coast, that is like a huge grave insult. Like even if your mother's not Italian, she makes a good lasagna. And
Or
like if
it's
someone,
a good Italian dish.
yeah, and if someone
Yeah.
says otherwise, that's a fuck. Like
Yeah.
like I still really only eat my mother's lasagna. Like I don't like any other lasagna other than hers. Like
Yeah.
which is kind of amazing when you think about it. But well, I don't know. It's just how it goes. But all right. So yeah, Evil Ed saying go Birds. Yep, go Birds. Uh,
I didn't know Bert. He was a. I thought he was a. He's a Eagles fan.
I
Did not know
mean,
that.
I'm not worried about it. Anyway, someone says go Birds, you say go Birds. It's just the
Yeah,
way
sure.
it's. I mean, if you ever watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like it's pretty much the standard
Yeah.
response anytime that comes up, no matter what. Which sadly, that is a very accurate representation of
It
South Philly.
real.
Oh, he's been an Eagles fan since the '70s, so before me.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is. Yeah. I like. Again, that show came out in the early 2000s. I want to say.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know
And
the
that's like
exact year.
I went to Philly when I was younger, but never really went out and met people in Philly. Just went to events and stuff there, and I came home. When I start going to Philly and hanging out with people in Philly, I'm like, well, this show is kind of like I see the overlap. I get it.
Yeah, yeah. Swaggy D pointing out Bill Burr, Philly rant was 100%. First off, I will point out that yes, it was. Second off, I'll point out he actually did that in Camden. The Philly because it was on the waterfront for the Opie and Anthony traveling virus tour.
Oh yeah, the
So-
Bill Burr rant. The
Yeah.
infamous
So,
Bill Burr
which is the funniest thing about it is because he shits on Philly a lot, and it's great. And obviously, at the end, he wins the crowd over because, like, that's one thing the Philly crowd loves is like you to shit on them in a way that's actually entertaining and
Oh,
thoughtful.
yeah.
But like, it's not fair to just call that a Philly rant or like against the Philly crowd because it was actually in New Jersey.
But I mean, that is typical Philly crowd behavior too. So.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course it was. Like if you go to Philly, like in the thing is, if you piss off the crowd, if you lose the support of the crowd, you're fucked.
Yeah.
It's just the way it goes for anything. Like, I mean, it's just the way Philly is. Like, if we don't love you, you are gonna get murdered. Pretty much.
Like either by taunts or actually murder.
Yeah. To be fair, there is far less murder in Philly crowds than, like, say, Oakland
Yeah.
or San Fran.
Or
Like,
yeah.
No,
San Fran.
ironically, the places like there where actual murder happens get less shit for their fan bases than Philadelphia and other East Coast cities, which is
Or LA too. LA Dodger fans.
Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. Like,
Are notorious.
yeah, an Oakland fan murdered a 49ers fan. That's okay. Did you hear what they did to Santa Claus? They booed the guy.
I still think one of my favorite things there, when I was talking about that to a friend, he goes, what's the big deal? If that was a real Santa, just a guy in a suit. I'm like, as opposed to actual real Santa. Like, there's no real argument for you in that.
I mean, there are people who believe.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's people who believe in a lot of things. I mean, Santa Claus was based on a real person, apparently. So, you know,
Yeah.
and I don't think we booed the real person because I don't think Philadelphia was around back then, but, you know. If we were, we probably would have. Dude, like putting like coal in people's shoes because he didn't like them. Yeah, boo. I remember Cactus School on every December 6th having to put a sneaker outside the school to get candy in it sometimes. So weird. So
Wait,
weird.
what?
St.
Yeah,
Nicholas
we're
Day.
like, wait, what?
Okay. So as someone who went to Catholic school as a kid, December 6th is the feast day of St. Nicholas. So outside to celebrate, the kids would put one of their shoes in the hallway, and then St. Nicholas would come and put like little gifts in it, usually like some candy and whatnot.
Like what? Mike Nicholas, the Nightmare King? He would come put candy in kids' shoes.
No. St. Nicholas, he was a Turkish guy
Okay.
who is the basis of Santa Claus.
Okay.
Yeah, he administered to children and prostitutes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, kind of weird when you actually look into who Santa Claus is based. I mean, obviously the modern Santa
Yeah.
Claus is based off a Coca-Cola ad and
Right.
look, but the religious figure it's based on is kind of interesting character.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're supposed to be talking about Super Show
Oh yeah. So,
or
what's-
and Matt Barone, not Philadelphia and Santa Claus. So if people have questions, are we to the Q&A section? Yes, Norseman, you can ask questions. The whole show is a Q&A. That's actually kind of the point of it.
So Matt, is that a Himalayan salt lamp behind you?
yes, it is.
Is it beneficial? Do you find any?
I'm not 100%. I mean, it does give off a light aroma, and but I got it more for the lighting.
Gotcha. I'm just curious.
No, yes, I mean, if it does, maybe it does. Like, I'm not 100% behind it. I like it more for the lighting and for the
ambiance.
ambiance. Yeah, there we go. But no, it's great for a nice like little dim when you have a nice dim light in your room without being overpowering and waking you up in the middle of the night when you need to get up.
Gotcha. So how many decks do you have built right now?
At least single decks, I have 2 for every stat.
Okay.
So about 12 singles, and then 1 tornado and 1 trio for every stat, except for grapple, because I don't have any trio grapple 30s.
Wow.
Or if I do, I only have like 1, I think. I just never got around to building it.
That's a lot of decks. How do you pick which one you're gonna play? Say like what you use this weekend at Highlander.
I kind of just go with something like for like event like Highlander. I go with someone I'm familiar with, and I think has a decent win ratio for me. So I went with my Henrietta deck, which usually gets me pretty far. Unfortunately, my luck was just not great this weekend. But yeah, it also depends on the gimmick. Like if it's a decent gimmick, like I go with like a nice mid-range gimmick for big events, just because it helps me out more, as opposed to just relying on a heavy gimmick, a very strong gimmick with weak finishers, as opposed to something that has something like I'd rather have a decent gimmick and decent finishers as opposed to a strong gimmick and weak finishers, or vice versa.
Right. Yeah.
Always run
We
sharpshooter.
we just had a really good discussion about that in our local play group about strong finishes versus the gimmick and how do you balance, and
And for
so
me, like,
yes.
I also like using a lot of people who don't get played a lot well, or just have fun gimmicks. Like Henrietta, I don't think gets played a lot. And another very undervalued gimmick is really for like steel cage matches, when you switch out deck, when you tech for it, for like just making your opponent constantly bury. You're constantly burying. Even if they stop your cards, you're still getting rid of cards, and they're constantly burying.
Yeah.
And you're drawing and getting rid of cards.
Gotcha.
You keep that, like get that card and put Big Wave in there as switch out one of our finish for Big Wave. It'll be
Big
pretty
Wave.
set.
Big Wave's a good card.
Especially for a steel cage.
Yeah, I run it in tornadoes occasionally because it's hilarious in a tornado.
Yeah.
Flip your whole deck. Sounds fun, and I get to bury something. Yay! So Love is Girth. Girth is LFF would like to know, who is your favorite tag partner?
Well, I haven't had a lot of tag partners like consistently, but the one consistent one I had is actually Bobby Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, love is good. Yes.
Yeah, so I
Posting
mean,
messages.
by
He's,
default, yeah, you have to go with him. That's kind of sad.
I mean,
But
it's
okay.
not by default either. He's just overall, he's a great guy to play with. He's fun to play. He's fun. He's very vocal.
Yeah,
Keeps the game.
see,
He keeps the game like lively, as opposed to some people who just like are very serious and keep the game like.
I don't know.
Like I like having fun. You know, this game is a game. You want to have fun. You want to play.
I don't know. I think Bobby O would be better if he talked less.
Sometimes he gets a little carried away, but he is a great fun. He's a ton of fun to have have
He
as your partner.
you know, he's
We-
just one of those guys that like he just talks too much.
And last year, was it this season we hardly played any of our matches just because we came in late.
Yeah.
But last season for the web, we went pretty far. We went to the semifinals, and we unfortunately got stomped out by Law and Paul, who aside from being a great tag team, they were just on their dice were on fire for us. Like we tried getting them out, and they were like rolling 18s, 20s consistently. I'm like, all right, can't really beat that.
I mean, in some ways, you could say they are paired together for life, and they play that
Yeah.
way.
I mean, it's a lot easier when you're in the same room together and playing with each other and live with each other. You can tech a lot easier and talk,
Oh yeah,
strategize a lot easier. Whereas opposed to you're playing
Sure.
to someone
sure,
halfway across the country.
right. And like he's a guy who talks too much, so it's probably hard to get your own deck tech in because he just keeps talking over you.
Well, that too. They tag. Yeah, he was saying they tagged like 90 times. Like they just kept matching up. I'm like, yeah, you can't. Like, you know, when we got good race rolls, they would tag up and beat us. I'm like, all right, great.
We're lucky that Bobby's in our local play group. We love him.
Is
Yeah,
it
Bobby
luck
is
though? Is it luck? Um,
It is love.
all right. Brian the Norseman would like to know because he's working. Thoughts on the Grapefruit Championship belt?
The Grapefruit Championship belt.
I
I
mean,
honestly forgot about that. I have no idea about this. I might, and I honestly forgot. So I can't really say yes or no.
Was this while you were drinking Yoo-hoo?
from the
Yeah.
show, from the show.
The
Grapefruit
show?
from the championship belt from the show. I assume it's something that happened on the IWA Supremacy show. I would assume.
I honestly can't recall offhand.
Yeah. I wonder if they're asking you questions that you might have known the answer for when you were drinking, but might not remember
Well,
days later when you're not
The only
drinking.
people I went drinking with was Swaggy D and Norseman and Calais.
And Swaggy D and Norseman are the two talking about it.
Not Norseman. I'm sorry. Swaggy D and what do you call it? Unsworth.
Oh, Mike Unsworth. Okay.
I think Norseman was busy in the finals when we went out drinking.
That's fair. That's one of the benefits to not making the finals.
Yeah, I jobbed out. I'm like, well, I guess I'll go to the street for a drink now.
And you are comforted with the warmth of the Yoo-hoo PBR.
Yeah, and you know, nice little order of wings. Can't really beat that.
A little order of wings. So, how many is a little order of wings?
About 20.
Where do you put it all?
I don't know. I wish I knew.
It's the drip, man.
Yeah.
You can it hides everything.
Okay. Got some well, I got 10 and 10. I got lemon pepper and Old Bay.
Yeah, I'm not Old Bay fan, so you know.
I only like it on cold shrimp.
Yeah, a lot of people seem to like it on fries, but you know,
Well, I guess I do too. Never
yeah,
mind.
crab fries. Yeah,
Crab fries.
yeah, but I can eat it on that, but I'll take it or leave it. It's not like it's yeah, but on shrimp, yeah, it's great on shrimp. Intergalactic title shot while you all were boozing is what I guess he was talking about. Oh,
Okay.
he was playing. Okay, so he got an
Okay.
intergalactic title shot while you were drinking.
Oh, nice.
Good. How'd that turn out for you, Norseman? Anyway, speaking of title shots, so you just come off, and this was actually a question asked earlier by Ken Touche. What title meant more to you, the Six-Stop Hardcore Championship or the LFF Triad Championship?
I want to say the Triad Championship just because the people I played against for it. I won against two of the best players in the game, Candyman Dan and the Grump, who are regarded as some of the best players in this game.
Fair.
And
Irrefutable.
I won against both of them. And I'm not gonna say like oh yeah, I'm like niggas take it as like, oh yeah, I'm great as them. I'm not. I don't think I'm under a level, but be able to hang with them and have a great match with them and win that match, I think is something I'm pretty proud of myself for.
I think for future title shots, though, you should avoid defending your belt against members of the line. It seems to be like a bad one for you.
But you know what? The two members of the line I lost against, which is Ken Fouché and Jeremy Steigerwald, are two people I really respect. I think are great people. Ken is a great guy, super sweet, very nice, and I think another person who's very, I want to say underestimated in this game, or
he's definitely underestimated.
And the spotlight isn't shined enough on him, and it should be.
Oh yeah.
And then Mr. Jeremy Steigerwald, yeah, he's just a fun guy to hang around with. Like at Huntsville, I had a blast when we were playing. I honestly forgot the name of the card game, but you become a wrestler and you cut promos against each other.
Okay, yeah, I remember him talking about that before.
And I've never played anything like that before, and I had a blast playing it. Like it came out to like me, him.
You should be careful. Everything should be all right, but keep an eye on Magic.
Sounds good, Bobby.
Who else? Hold on, Harry. The South Bell. A whole bunch of us. We played in Jeremy's room. A whole group of us. Then one night we were all just hanging out, drinking, playing. It was a great time. And then we went out to dinner. Actually, we went out to lunch one of the days too. Me, Jeremy, I think.
Yeah.
A couple other members of the line. We all went to this barbecue place.
Yeah. Jeremy would be considered one of the top players of the game if he didn't have runs of bad luck with his dice.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
he is a very underestimated mind in this game.
Yeah,
very underestimated.
Absolutely.
He does have some really good tech.
And if he wasn't constantly getting undermined by his roommate, deadbeat.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that roommate just steals all of his good dice.
Yeah, I got fortunate to meet his roommate this weekend. He decided to come up to Highlander for a little bit.
Oh, good. That's probably why I got less threatening emails over the weekend.
Yeah.
Guy's a monster. Definitely a monster. He's almost as bad as that Jigglypuff.
He's determined to turn Mallory into a world-class luchadora.
Well, she's already world class, so I guess it's just teaching her.
Does she take off the mantle and the mask?
Yeah, trying to, but she's just like, nope.
Yeah. All right. So, folks, if you have questions, get it in. We got about 20 minutes or so left 25 minutes left in the show. So
it's very unfortunate that there's not more luchadors in this game because some people should have masks covering up their face, but you know.
That's not very nice, Matt, but true.
And I knew he was talking about me too. That's just horrible.
That's not true.
I'm gonna get a big Eagles mask for my next competitor.
Okay,
wasn't Philly the brown paper bags for a while, just with cutout eyes?
We have done that, yes.
Philly, and I think the Browns too.
And dog masks.
Oh yeah, Bengals. They still do it.
Yeah.
I still think one of my favorite sports facts is no one has ever texted about the Bengals ever being in a playoff game, because when text messaging first came out, the Bengals, I think the year before they made the playoffs, and then every year after that they never made the playoffs. So there's never been a text go out about the Bengals being in a playoff game.
Poor Keith he's a Bengals fan.
Ugh.
Every year he just gets beat up.
Well, the problem, Keith, is you got Cannoli on the same fan base, so that just brings your luck down.
The mustache itself just brings it down.
I wouldn't call that a mustache as much as like just a little. Like I have terrible facial hair, and that's just like, ugh, that's bad.
All right, so this is actually going to segue into the next question from the hidden threat really well. and he would like to know what is the best way to stay safe from a macaron roast.
It's very hard to do that. So, I mean, mostly keep quiet and keep your head down.
Fair.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people I don't roast. I mean, I like the Overbeast. I like Mallory. She's a fun person, even though she likes roasting me sometimes.
Just the once.
Just me and my terrible math skills.
That was so funny.
But like I mean, it all depends. If for me, it's honestly, I probably roast everyone once in a while. If I see if it gets under your skin, like pushes your buttons, I'm gonna have fun with it. Also, like really bothers you. Like if it upsets you, I'm not gonna do it, obviously. Because I
Like
want to.
it impacts your mental health. There's a line.
Yeah, there's a line. But if I see like a pushy, like I used to do it. I do a cannoli because I see it like, or Schmidt because I see it messes with them. Like I don't mean it. I love Schmidt. I love cannoli. But I just like messing because I see it gets them flustered.
I mean, just like you with that math problem, which was great because you turned to everyone else at the table. Oh, what is this? Because you had your answer and everyone else did it separately and got the right answer, which was not your answer.
Yeah.
She gave you a math problem?
At WrestleMania. She gave him.
Oh, I thought she just sat down and asked you about the Pythagorean theorem.
No, she did. She asked me that, and I'm like, yeah. I asked her, like, do I look like that kind of person? No, I am not.
Yeah, and then she gave it math problem, and he's like, I think I got this, and everyone around the table looking we all did it real quick, and we all got the right answer, and Matt didn't.
I never said I had it. I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, I'm not giving it a try, because I know I can't do it.
You're like, I put it in Google, and it came up with this answer. I'm like, came up with the wrong answer. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But, all right, so Ken Fouché would like to know, if you still have the boss's favor, the card, if you could trade it in for any title shot, what would it be?
Honestly, right now, I'm pretty.
The Master of Ceremonies, I believe, yeah.
Master of Ceremonies, I'm pretty complete, like happy where I am right now with not having anything. Because it's not like there's no one I really want to take the title from. I mean, Jeremy.
What about if Bombada wins the trios title from Yasmin? Would you take the trios title from him?
I mean, maybe, but I'm not very confident in trios, so I can't say.
Okay.
And let's be fair, Bombada's been coming in not first a lot this year, so he's gonna lose.
I mean, Bombada deserves a win now. I feel.
No one deserves a win. You gotta earn a win.
Always the prize.
Well, earn.
Except the proof is he has not earned a win yet. And he said in something in like the last 21 things he's got top 4 but never a win. So
always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
I mean, I don't think he's because he doesn't say top 2. He says top 4. He's probably like 4th, maybe 3rd. Like a couple times second. He's not like Matt Nealon bridesmaid level. That man.
Well, that's like maid of honor bride.
Yeah.
Then you got your
Fair.
Your cousin that you suppose you really should ask them to be in your wedding because they had you in theirs, and you're like, well, damn, I got to do this. And
but you know what? I think that is the perfect explanation for Italian Bombada I've ever heard. that is the best explanation of Italian Bombada ever. I'll give it credit. And he's probably working, so he won't hear this. So, haha, even better.
I mean, Bombada and Boss Bombada was my first match I've ever played against in an event. He actually pinned me. I kicked out and ended up winning. And him and Boss took from that first event I was ever played at to almost pretty much over a year later, they never beat me.
Yeah, wow. You were the original Boss Slayer.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a hell of an accomplishment. Which is why you need to get on the dojo tonight to, maybe win some alt art cards.
Yeah, that looked crazy for tonight.
All right, we have a hand raised in the chat, so the Nightmare King can come on and ask his question.
All right, let's see what he's got.
What's going on, though, Matt?
What's going on, Nightmare King?
I heard what you said about me with gifts for kids and everything.
Santa Claus, yeah.
I got a simple question to ask you, sir.
Okay.
If you were in any type of wrestling company and you have a tag team partner and you went after the tag team titles, which brand will you go for, and what's which title would you, seek for in tag team?
Well, for tag team, it would be the tag. I would go with AEW. Actually, AEW or maybe ROH, depending. Like I like Ring of Honor a lot because they have probably one of my favorite wrestlers who I think is gonna blow up soon and be signed to a bigger company is Tony Deppen. I think he's incredibly talented wrestler. He's like I first saw him doing deathmatch, but he's even outside deathmatch, he's a great technical wrestler, great mic skills, has good charisma, knows how to work a crowd, knows how to get behind, like not just do hardcore deathmatch stuff, be very agile on the ropes and in the ring and work his opponent well. So
Okay.
Or if I go with AEW, I want to say Jungle Boy, another great talent. It was great seeing him rise up from when I used to see him in GCW events and local events around here to today. I actually saw his last GCW match in Asbury Park, along with Joey Janela's and a few other people's last matches, and he's an incredible talent.
Yeah, we just saw him
Alright.
at
Well,
when
thanks.
we were in Jacksonville the other week, and when he came out, it was the first time he'd heard the music that Tony Khan, and I don't think you saw it on camera, but he was almost in tears. Like when the whole crowd was just singing his music.
Yeah.
It was just crazy, and he deserves it all.
He deserves it.
Done great.
And it's sad what he's had to go through with losing his father. So he used to wrestle out in California with my friend Fred. And Fred was telling me that his dad, Luke, would actually be at matches beforehand, helping them set up and break down, even afterwards, break down rings.
Yeah.
But like he was just like he didn't act like a star there. He just acted like he was a guy who wanted to help out and help his son.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel makes a great wrestler, is the guy who wants to put in work and his family believes in him, as opposed to people who just come in, like ride in on their star power and try to be famous. I mean, originally like David Arquette, but after the last few years, he's really putting in the work.
Yeah,
Watch his documentary. He's putting the work. He first came in.
I think that's unfair to him to say that he came in trying to ride it, because he didn't actually want to win the belt back then.
Yeah,
but
he didn't really have it. That's true. He didn't have really a choice. They just they put it on him.
Yeah, they were promoting the show, and it's like, okay, I guess I'm not going to say no to this because I'm a huge fan of him. So but then that perception of him being undeserved and things like that is what motivated him to be who he is. And he is when he got driven to the hospital after the Nick Gage match, that was by Luke Perry.
Yeah.
So it comes around. Luke Perry was really invested in wrestling because of his son.
Which is nice to see, because not a lot of parents support their kids being wrestlers.
Yeah, I think they originally started having them train at 12 or something, 11 or 12.
Yeah.
And then he took a few years off. And then they came back to it. Because I think there are pictures from back when Luchasaurus first started training, and little Jungle Boy was in the picture back then.
Nice.
So yeah. So
it's always nice seeing those things come full circle of wrestlers meeting their stars and coming up and wrestling against them.
Oh yeah, definitely. And Luchasaurus, he came a long way. That was several billion years ago or something that he was born, because he's a dinosaur and all.
And another guy who I like, even though semi gimmicky, but not really. I wish he had a better, way to show his skills, is Marco Stunt.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a little gimmicky, but
sure,
he's not terrible. He's not like Hornswoggle gimmicky, where he's just little.
Right.
He can't wrestle and he's just a gimmick. He's just a little. They made jokes about him, where he's actually a great wrestler. He's insanely agile. Well, obviously because of his size, but he put in the work. He takes his bumps. He takes his bruises. He gets up. He doesn't care who he's fighting against. He'll go win that match and give it his all for the crowd.
And he's got the mouth to back it up too.
Yeah. I met him twice, and he's another great guy to meet. But it's unfortunate that he really doesn't have, I guess, a league or somewhere he could really showcase his talents as well as he deserves to.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
hard
because
for
it's
someone his size
it's
to do.
just not realistic to expect him to be able to compete against like a Brian Cage or even a Matt Cardona.
So
even the smaller guys in a business is almost about like, but he's a good manager, helper type, and a good little mouthpiece, which is good for him because he's not just a mouthpiece where some people are like, Jim Cornette, unfortunately, who's just a mouth and obnoxious.
That guy wrestled a Ninja Turtle once.
But gimmick wrestling. But outlaw mud shows nowadays are too bad.
Yeah. One thing is though, you're mentioning Marco Stunt and Brian Cage, and maybe I'm wrong, but I really now want to see Brian Cage pick up Marco Stunt by his legs and smash him into like the ring post. I think that'd be a hell of a spot.
I don't want to see that. I mean, Marco.
He could launch him like 3/4 of the way across Daly's place. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, but just picking him up and like baseball batting him into it would be a hell of a spot.
I mean, using him as a baseball bat against one of his opponents, maybe, or against like what Luchasaurus or Jungle Boy, but not against the ring post. I think that would be a little too rough,
too brutal.
As long as he swings like Jose Canseco, I think it's fine.
Swing for the fences.
Yeah, definitely 100% swing for the fences. I mean, like I said, it might be a little bit too mean, but I think it'd be a hell of a spot. And you know what? I think he'd be into it. I mean, like, look, he did worse to Darby.
That's true.
Of course, Darby's, I think, certifiably insane.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Talk to Darby a little bit at Huntsville, and he is.
Yeah. Did he appreciate the drip? Did he appreciate the drip?
He didn't really get it all. Sammy Guevara did.
Well, yeah.
Sammy did, and
makes sense.
Jason Thomas Frank did too.
Okay, but yeah, I guess makes sense that Darby Allin wouldn't get it.
I mean, he was just not really like he was with his little posse, I guess. So he was really more talking to them most of the time anyway. So I don't think he was that invested into what's going around him. Just kind of like,
Man, it's too big for his britches now. He's a star. He doesn't care about the little guys.
He was just like
he doesn't notice the drip.
If
he doesn't notice the drip, there's something wrong with him.
Yeah.
He should have acknowledged the drip. He should have challenged him right then and there for the 6 stop title.
He asked me about the belt, and I told him, I'm like, you should come by, blah, blah. He wasn't that well.
Yeah.
Well, didn't a member of his entourage, didn't Charlie stop by?
Yeah, he stopped by, and then they came down to watch I forgot what
WrestleMania.
Yeah, WrestleMania was going on that weekend, and we were watching it down there, and he came down and watched some of the WrestleMania with us. But other than that,
Charlie was part of Sammy Guevara's group.
Yeah.
Because he was BTE champion, I think, for some point.
Yep.
When it was still part of the Sammy Guevara vlog. Or it's now back on BTE. All this weird stuff that I don't keep track of. So we should probably go with the cannoli question that he likes to ask, and he has been around for. Who are your 3 favorite male wrestlers and female wrestlers?
Well, I always answer 2 of those. I mean, it's hard to say, like, if I'm going current right now, like, just like right now, I'll probably say Jungle Boy, Tony Deppen, and I want to say I'll do like Sammy Guevara a lot.
All right.
But overall, like all time, Chris Jericho is probably hands down one of my favorites. And as much as I hate saying this, because he honestly was a terrible person and a terrible wrestler, but he's the person that drew me into wrestling and got me like all about it was Ultimate Warrior.
Okay.
Like he is a terrible person and a terrible wrestler, but when I was a kid, like watching him, he's drew me in.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. You're from New Jersey, so you're used to seeing cokeheads running around. So kind of like he's kind of the wrestler that makes you think of home when you see him.
Yeah,
I get it.
Well, I can see it. Bright colors, tons of action. Yeah,
it comes flying into the ring.
Yeah,
he's shaking a ring like
he had the 80, 89 era drip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
another person I would say all-time favorite is Owen Hart.
Okay.
Incredibly talented wrestler.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like, he didn't fit into, I guess, the McMahon
God.
promotion or
Yeah.
McMahon ideals
Yeah.
of being a showman and not just a great, incredibly talented wrestler.
Yeah. Well, he died trying to be a showman. So.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, yeah.
Yep.
And yeah.
But what about the female side?
Female side, we'll go with China.
Okay.
Trying to think who else I would really like. I really think Britt Baker.
You lost me. See ya. Bye.
Yeah, no one likes anyone from Pittsburgh. So that's
I'm from Pittsburgh and I don't like her.
Why don't you like her?
I had I wouldn't say a run-in with her, but you know how when you see somebody like behind the scenes and you're like, oh my God, you're a train wreck and you're an idiot and you just lose respect for somebody. I was just like, I can't do this. Because before we saw her at Starcast, it was in Chicago, and she was on the Ladies of AEW panel, and just when she thought people weren't around, I just saw some of the true Britt Baker, and I'm like, yeah, not a fan.
Okay, that's how I feel about The Miz. I met him actually at the Denver airport. And his charisma thing, like his little personality he has in the ring, is him in real life, I think, or he was just carrying it outside. He wanted to carry it outside that. But to me, it made me like I was like, wow, okay, go fuck yourself, dude.
Yeah.
So, and that was actually his second time because I met him once in Denver airport and once at the Meadowlands Diner up here. And both times he was there. I was like, the Meadowlands Diner, I chalked up like, it's after an event. He's probably tired, whatever. Right. And then this time was the next day after Raw. He was in line for the airport. Like, hey, congrats on winning the belt. I'm a huge fan. Been a fan of you since you were on the Real World. It's great to see someone, a fan like you, become up.
Right.
Yeah, you would be. And walked away. I'm like,
wow.
I guess being an asshole, but like, someone who's like
why do I appreciate that more? I like him more from that comment than anything else.
But then I also ran into Alicia Fox and Paige, and they were super sweet.
Yeah, I mean, Alicia Fox, I'm surprised she's not on one of your favorite female wrestlers list.
For my third favorite, it's a tie between, I want to say, Trish Stratus and Lita.
I knew Trish Stratus was going to be on that list.
Or Alicia Fox.
Yeah, Alicia Fox is kind of.
She was gonna have you fly down to Florida and shovel her plow her snow. Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're both incredibly talented wrestling. I think they really paved the way for women's wrestling, not divas.
Thank you. Yes.
And unfortunately, I feel like what's her name? Set you guys back. I don't even like the number of names.
Eva Marie.
The twins or the
Bellas.
The Bellas. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
They were just awful. The botchas, really.
They were very good on Total Divas.
On Total Divas. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're ever good in a ring or not.
The saddest thing about Total Divas is that Renee Paquette was only on it for one season. Because she is just the best personality in like outside wrestling. One of my favorite Twitters.
I'm getting hate from Fabio for not saying Stacey Keebler or Tori Wilson. I mean, I'm not gonna say they're not good. I like them, but they're not my top three.
Yeah, I mean Stacey Keebler is not much of a wrestler either.
Yeah.
To be fair, I mean to be fair, she's more well known now for being a former girlfriend of George Clooney than anything else, and being on Dancing with the Stars.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, legs. Yes, they had legs.
Most of them do.
Legs for days.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's not a requirement, but generally, people have legs. That's Balio for you, though. Stating the obvious. Oh man, see that's it. He won't shut up. And luckily the Twitch stream doesn't get to see his like all of his 30 pages of comments generally insulting me, telling me I need to wear a mask and all these other comments. It's just rude, very rude.
I,
That's probably a horrible mean person. Horrible.
no.
He's mean. He's very mean to me. He hurts my feelings.
To you, but that's how it's. You need to dose your own medicine. Being from Philly,
Look, I'm one of the nice. Everyone tells me I am one of the nicest people they've met in this game.
Wait a minute. If I'm the nicest person people have met in this game,
One
we're
of the nicest.
diametrically opposed.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but see, they change their mind after they meet me in person usually.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't know why. Like, some people say I'm like completely different in person. I don't know why. It's weird. It's almost like there's
I
things
think
you shouldn't
so.
say
I
on the
mean-
internet.
on our ride out to Ohio, we had a great time.
Oh yeah, it was definitely good.
All right, we're down to a few minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Matt, we like to flip it around, and we've been asking you questions. The SRG universe has been asking you questions all hour. What questions do you have for Jeff or I?
All right. So, SRG Mom, for you, did Mallory get you into the game, or did you get Mallory into the game, or was it your husband that got you into the game?
So, funny story. We actually got into the game on the Chris Jericho cruise.
Okay.
And that's how we met Colin and Sierra and James Hand, and then everybody else. And
Okay.
I'm not a big board game fan, but I'm a big social butterfly community fan.
Okay.
And that's
see
actually
that.
what drew me to Tell Us About Yourself, right? Like, you're not going to see me playing Super Show, but I love everybody in the community. I love the characters. I love the backstory. I love everybody, with a few notable exceptions. But anyway,
Yeah.
So Keith brought it home, and Mallory was like, what are you doing? And Keith's like, I'm going to show you this. Let me tell you, she whooped his ass. Like, she picked it up like that, just real quick.
Honestly, yeah, I can see that, because
Yeah.
she's someone, like I said, like, as a person, she's not intimidating, but as a competitor, she's very intimidating, because she's just, and for how young she is and how fast her mind works and how well her mind works,
Yeah.
it's insane.
Believe me, it scares me too. Some of the comebacks and some of the logic Keith has taught her. I'm like, Keith, what are you doing? Can't use this against me. But yeah, that's how she got into the game. And then, she met the group. She loves all of them and started competing, met the Rust Belt guys, loved them. And we started taking her wherever we went, which is how, she met the guys from RCW. And I mean, if you look at her closet, she's got, t-shirts from RCW, from Rust Belt. She's got the Dangerous Wool order t-shirt, like,
and like
a quarter.
The thing about it is, like, there's a lot of kids that play this game, and I don't want to shit on them, but at the same time, you're kids, you kind of like, want to have fun with them. Like, you don't want to like,
Right.
crush you, gotcha. But like, you don't have to do that with Mallory at all. Like,
Yeah, you got to
You-
worry about losing.
you got to compete against her. Like, you have to, like, all right, I got to play this.
Yeah.
Because there's some kids, like, you don't want to just beat the kids, but then her and another person I think young kid that's impressive is Henry Mulholland from my play group,
Right.
who went undefeated at our event yesterday against some of the best players that come play the game, and
That's awesome.
he's the youngest of his family, and he's just constantly like just always hanging in there
Yep.
and always playing like beating us.
And
Like,
well, I think because I think what makes kids like that, so I call it the unpredictability factor. Like, if you think about it, you've played games, you've played Magic, everybody else has played games. And usually it's if I do X, they're going to counter with Y, right?
Yeah.
And with Mallory, she's like, if I do X, I don't care what they do. And, or if you play something, she's not going to play what you would expect somebody to do. And that's what makes her
I
unpredictable.
think the creativity of deck building for them is what it is.
Yeah.
They think more outside the box than any of us adults, because we just are as we get older, we lose I feel like our creativity and our like edge in a way.
Yeah.
where they are just like open to it. It's just like, well, I'm gonna think outside this box, and we're just like, I never thought of that.
Yeah, there have been times after a match, Keith's like, Mallory, why didn't you play blah, blah, blah? She's like, oh, well, I was doing this and I knew he might have that. And so I was going to do this. And Keith's like, I didn't even see that coming, you know? So, well, good. Do you have any questions for Jeff?
I mean, Jeff and I talked a decent amount. We had like a 6-hour car ride, but
yeah,
we covered a lot of bases. But I think one thing
what's the most interesting fact you learned about Jeff in that car ride?
His job, actually. I didn't think he was. I found out he like goes to grocery stores and puts stock, like essentially does displays and like
wow.
stuff
Remodel.
like that.
Yeah. Reorganize all the shelves, remodel it, basically.
Yeah, remodel shelves in grocery stores. And that was something I didn't think he was in. Nothing against him, just didn't seem like he was that kind of guy. So I thought that was interesting. And that seems like an interesting job too. On top of that.
Are you saying he doesn't do physical labor? Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. Like just because he's, very I don't want to say tech savvy, but he's, always on here doing tech stuff behind the scenes. He would be more like, Brian Schmidt, like doing the radio show and stuff like that. So I thought he'd be more associated that way as opposed to doing what he does.
Gotcha.
And Bobby O was pointing out that when he met me in person, he realized that I'm way shorter than he thought, which is ironic because there's a lot of people who kept saying to me that I was way taller than they thought too. Since there were some people who thought I was like 5 foot tall.
Do you drive with a booster seat?
I don't drive, so but no, I wouldn't. That'd be pretty hard. I mean, you don't want me to drive. I have no like peripheral vision on my right side, which is really bad for someone in a car, since that's the hard side to see on.
Yeah, that's why you get blindside mirrors. I love those on my new car.
Yeah,
it beeps at me if there's somebody there.
Oh, actually the car I drove back from Ohio the first time I ever went out there had the driver lane assist, which I loved.
Yeah, I do not like that.
And yet Bombada still said it wasn't a very fun drive for some reason.
Well, Bombada could have drove back himself if he had a license or a car, but he didn't. So
beggars cannot be choosers.
Exactly.
The old saying. All right, so we are over time. We're gonna get Kirk Polka would like to know pineapple or sheep, and we.
Unfortunately, for him, it's gonna be pineapple.
All right.
What?
I'm a big pineapple person, so.
Yeah. So all right, and with that, we're gonna end the show. Thank you all for coming. We will be back next week with a guest that will get announced probably next week. And hope everyone has fun and have a good week. And
thanks for having me, guys.
Yep. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, Matt.
All right. See you all later.